This is Unit 9, Lesson 1. We are going to rewrite expressions involving simple radicals and rational exponents with a numerator of 1 and evaluate rational exponents. Okay, so just a quick review. So the square root of 25 equals 5 because 5 squared is 25. So the square root is the inverse of a squaring function. It undoes the squaring function. And then same here, 7 squared is 49. The cube root of 8 equals 2 because 2 cubed, or 2 times 2 times 2, equals 8. The fourth root of 16 equals 2 because 2 to the fourth equals 16. 2 times itself 4 times. Okay. So radical expressions, rational exponents. So you can write your roots as exponents. They just get a 1 over. So if you have a square root of x, you can write that as x to the 1/2 because the root is 2. If it's the cube root of x, that's x to the 1/3, and so on and so on. All right, so let's just kind of practice this a little bit. So c to the 1/4, I want to write in radical form. So I put my root symbol. C is the base, so that's underneath, and then the fourth root, so that little 4 goes outside. Okay, 3n is what's inside, so that is the base. That all goes under the radical. And then 1/2. This is square root without a 2. It is implied that it's square root. It's also okay if you write it there. Okay, and then 2d to the 1/5. So 2d is your base, goes inside, and then 5 on the outside. Okay, now I'm going to go the other way, and I want to write this in exponent form. So 10n, this is my entire base, so I have to make sure I put that base in parentheses. And then my root is 3, so for an exponent, that's 1 over 3. Okay, this one, 6y, that's the base, and since there's 2 parts, the 6 and the y, I have to use parentheses. And then it's a square root, so remember the root is 2 if it's not shown, so that's to the 1/2. Alright, now I'm going to evaluate. So this means I'm trying to get a number for my answer here. So evaluate, you're looking for a number. You're not just rewriting it or changing forms. So 64 to the 1/2, and you can type that in your calculator if you want. So 64, and then when I'm using the graphing calculator, if I hit that alpha y equals, or I type it in as a fraction, 1/2, you get 8. But we should know, right? So this 1/2 means square root. So the square root of 64 is 8. Okay, the cube root of 27. So you could type it in as 27 to the 1/3 power. Or you could do cube root, which here, it's under math, and then it's number 4 there. Cube root, 27. It is 3. Or you can just type in 27 to the 1/3 power. Okay, 3. Okay, now check this one, 625, the fourth root, 625, the fourth root. So if you type that in as 625 to the 1/4 power, you get 5. All right, now I want to see which are equivalent. Which are equivalent. So take a minute, pause this, and go through and evaluate. So get numbers for each of these to see which ones are equivalent. So pause it, but then after you do that, so we should get 2 here, 4, 5, 4, 5, and 2. Okay, so these are equivalent. These are equivalent. And these are equivalent. All right, and that's it for this first lesson.